And we are live. What's good, everybody? It's your man, DL Saint. Welcome. I really want to know podcast, man. What's good, y'all? Happy Tuesday. I am early. Normally, we start at 6 p.m., but I have a show tonight. So it looks like on Tuesdays, we're going to have to go probably from 5 or 5:30 until about 6:30 or 7. Because I have to get to the venue and set up and a whole bunch of other stuff, man. So it is what it is. Thanks for rocking out with me. Thanks for rolling with me. Appreciate y'all. Hope your Tuesday is going good. If you're down here in Central Florida, man, we just had this nasty rain pour through. Heavy rain. Looked at the weather radar, and it stretches pretty much from the Gulf of Mexico all the way up through Canada. It's this long string of weather. And as a retired air traffic controller, I'm kind of looking at that, and I was like, boy, that is a nightmare for air traffic controllers to deal with right now. I'm so glad I'm retired. And that affects air traffic controllers from Florida all the way up into Canada. The Midwest. Anyone who needs to go fly from the East Coast to the West Coast is going to have a lot of delays tonight. It's going to be problems getting through that weather. The thing looks pretty solid, too. So, like even down here in Florida, it's like if you got to go to the West Coast, they got to do all kind of stuff just to get you on the West Coast or the West side of that string of weather. But it is what it is. If you're not flying and you're at home checking, just doing what you're doing. If you are stuck in the rain or bad weather, man, just drive. Be careful. Slow down. Water ain't no joke. Frozen water really ain't no joke for those of y'all dealing with ice. People down here in Central Florida, man, they just can't. They just don't care, man. They don't care about physics, man. They don't care if it's raining. They don't care if it's foggy. They're going to drive the same no matter what. And it baffles the mind. I ain't going to lie to you. But that's why there's so many accidents. And for someone like me, as I'm driving around, Tampa, Florida, just more content, man. Just more fuel for the bit, man. I'm just sitting here watching like, yep, I could turn. I have a 4-minute thing that I talk about traffic in Florida. That's going to be about 30 minutes before the end of the week. Ooh, the way people drive down here. But anyway, I'm glad y'all with me. We're going to continue to talk about what's going on tonight. I'm sorry. We're going to continue to talk about what's going on with Cat Williams in that groundbreaking interview he had with Shannon Sharp on Club Shay Jack Black. Brother Jack, what's good? What's good, young knight? Excited for the comics tonight. Yeah, man, me too, man. The rain's supposed to die down around 7 p.m. for us here. And about 8 o'clock is forecast for no rain at all. We don't start until 9, doors open at 8, so I can't wait to see you, bro. It's going to be a good time, man. You know what I mean? It's like, the wintertime snowboarders are back and forth. Man, it's not just them, bro. Those are the ones driving slow, man. It's just the people down here, the homegrown down here in Florida, man. There's something wrong with them, bro. They don't respect science, man. Anyway, you'll hear me talk about it tonight on stage. Trust me. We're going to do at least 15, 20 minutes on nothing but the way people drive in Florida. Can't wait to see you, bro. So yeah, Cat Williams just blew the lid off or the curtain off of, like what's going on in Hollywood. He was talking about Steve Harvey and, Tiffany Haddish. He was talking about Cedric the Entertainer. He was talking about, a bunch of people, Ludacris and all that kind of stuff. Brother Piss in the building. What's good, fam? I see you, bro. Welcome. And, like I've been saying, a lot of what he said, true. If it wasn't outright true, it had truths in it. Like he might have exaggerated some stuff, maybe embellished here and there, but he's right there, man. So other comics and other actors and writers and producers are all, of course, everybody's going to chip in. Gary Owens is one of them. Comedian out of Cincinnati, Ohio, man. He's been doing, like the black comedy circuit for his whole career. He's a white guy. So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a video that Gary Owens posted today, I believe. And it's just going to give you an idea of how Hollywood works for some people. When y'all hear me the term, oh, that person's Hollywood, or I'll say that's a cool kid, you guys are going to start to see what I mean. And this story is the perfect story to illustrate all that, man. So let's get into it. And we are live. What's good, y'all? Welcome. Did I really want to know podcast, y'all? Yes, get some. Last good man in Jersey's in the building. What's good, fam? I see you, bro. Appreciate you coming through, man. Brother Pitton, yes, please smash that like button on the way in or on the way out. Or if you're team replay, hit that like button if you like what you see, man. Please don't be afraid to leave a comment. Good, bad, or the other. It doesn't matter. I appreciate all comments. If I understand what you're saying, I'll react to it. If it makes sense, I'll, probably, answer the comment or say something. If I don't answer the comment, I either think you're trolling or I don't understand what you're saying, or you're just kind of like, I hate you. I'm like, okay, there's no need to thanks. There's no need to respond to that. But if it's something I don't understand, I'll just kind of leave it alone. If I think you're trolling, I'll just leave it alone. I haven't got to the point where I turn off comments or block people for making comments. I haven't done that yet. You know what I mean? So we'll see how it is. We got Brother Smeebles in the building. Was good. G'day. And Happy New Year to you, man. I haven't spoken to you since last year. What's up, bro? Good to see you, man. So yeah, we're gonna be talking about Gary Owens again. Gary Owens is a well-established comedian, actor. He's had like TV shows, man, specials, and all sorts of stuff. Like Gary has been out there a long time. Real tall white dude out of Cincinnati, Ohio. Shout out to him. I was even gonna wear one of my Cincinnati jerseys, but with the storm, it had me running behind time. I get a chance to change real quick into my, I want to just get up here and get going because I gotta. As soon as I finish this, I'm on my way to the venue. So yeah, we're gonna talk about Gary's reaction. He's done a couple reactions to the Cat Williams interview already. Because Cat Williams did mention his name, but it wasn't, he wasn't like no shots were fired or anything like that. He was just, he just kind of mentioned his name and that was it. Like Gary's a solid comedian. I've met the brother, like I don't know him, bumped into him a couple times. This is one of the dudes that was always in the trenches. And whenever I went to a black show, like if like chocolate Sundays, Mo Better Mondays, Crack 'em Up Tuesdays, those were the black rooms. It has the Laugh Factory Improv and the Laugh Factory Improv and Comedy Store out in LA. Those were like the spots, and I would see Gary either on a Sunday or a Tuesday or a Monday, and I would always want to go holler at him, man. But I was an open micer, and I knew my place. I was just kind of chilling. Not that he was on that kind of time. He wasn't. It was just I just sat back. And I was in, like with the black crowds, I never really did any black rooms when I started. And there was another room on Pico. I can't remember the name of it. Yeah, there's another room on Pico that used to be popping. And that was like an all 24/7 type. Every time that room was open, it was just a black room. It was kind of like, LA's answers for the improv, not the improv, but the Apollo in New York. It was kind of like that type of joint. Michael Collier used to run nights out of there. Michael Collier is a real cool dude, another solid comedian, been in the trenches forever. That's the one, if you want to interview and ask, someone's point of view on what Cat Williams was saying, I would love to hear Michael Collier's take on all that. But anyway, Gary's a solid dude, man, and from all accounts and from people who do know him, real good work ethic, always touring, like he's always like hitting the clubs, doing his thing. And he's out here in Hollywood, going over scripts, auditioning for things, getting shows. Like that's hard to do, people. Just so y'all know, it's not easy to get a show and to get it shot and then to get it picked up. Like that's so difficult. And he's done it more than once. So shout out to him. But he was telling a story about how Steve Harvey wanted to work with him, and we're gonna react to the story. Brother Penny was like, let us know who you want squashed. We're modded up for a reason. Absolutely, bro. Absolutely will. And these like the comments I was talking to, referring to, are the comments after the show was over. People leave comments and stuff like that. And I try to answer them all. I look at them. I try. And, it's been some real positive feedback, man. So it's kind of cool. I already know if they come in here acting sideways, man, y'all got them. I already know what time it is. I already know. Y'all going to take care of business, man. We just, as we continue to grow, man, we're going to wait and see who come in here and test this. Test this platform. We're gonna let the mods do what they do. So, speaking of mods, because like I said, we're gonna lock up the whole mod thing. As we continue to go, because I got all our moderators right now. We got like Brother Jack. I'm adding Brother Jack as a moderator. Also has okay. Bam, he's in there. So we're gonna be able to make stuff happen. So Cat Williams was talking about Steve Harvey, what type of person Steve Harvey is, like the shade, the hate, like stealing jokes and trying to like hating on Bernie Mac and trying to snake Bernie Mac out of parts and roles and stuff like that. As Bernie Mac was shining in Hollywood. We heard the thing like hanging with Mr. Cooper and how it appears that Steve Harvey was all about taking those ideas and taking what's his name's material, all that stuff, right? So when you hear it, I used to hear that sort of thing in Hollywood, but I never saw Steve Harvey. He was never out and about. I never saw him. I never saw him like just at any of the big clubs, like just I never saw this weekend Steve Harvey is headlining at the Laugh Factory or the Ice House or at Ha Ha or Improv or Comedy Store. I just never saw it. And I mean, I never thought about it. And if someone were to ask me about it back then, I probably would have just said, well, he's probably touring somewhere else. Like he's probably, hitting the country, probably in Atlanta. He's probably in Miami. He's probably in DC. I didn't realize dude had stopped doing comedy. So all that stuff this cat was saying, I was like, all right, now it's starting to make sense. Like the pieces are starting to fall into place. I'm like, okay. Okay. You know what I mean? Like, all right, we'll see what's up. So this story that we're about to listen to from Gary Owen I thought it was just like, all right, there it is right there. And this is a typical Hollywood story, bro. I'm not gonna lie. And like Gary was not throwing shade at all. He was very clear. He's like, man, I don't even think that Steve knew about this. I'm not throwing shade at Steve. I didn't bring it to his attention, but I got some comments on that. I got my thoughts on that as well. Yeah, so let's just get into it, man. Let's check this out. Again, shout out to my brother from Cincinnati, man. He's got the gear on and everything, man. I'm jealous, man. I should run downstairs and get some of my Cincinnati gear on. As a matter of fact, I probably will. So let's check this out, yo.
And then Steve got it, Steve Harvey. And then, Steve can be kind of standoffish. And I remember that Detroit show between Cat and Steve. And, man, I think Steve was taken back. He was like, whoa, I just came to a show. And then Cat was like, yo, it's a comedy knockout, it's a fight. And then Cat went after Steve. And, it's so weird. Like to know Steve and Cedric, they're so different, but then they've done so much together. Like Cedric is like the guy that'll walk in the room, say hi to everybody, very personable, very approachable. And Steve just isn't that guy,
Yeah. He ain't lying about that. He is not lying about that. And this is like, you can tell that brother Gary has respect for Steve, and he ain't trying to have no drama, nothing like that. He's saying it in a very nice way, but what he's saying is Steve is stuck up. Steve is Hollywood. That's what he's saying. You're going to hear the rest of the statement. You're going to see what I mean. Cedric, on the other hand, like, bro, I got bumped into Cedric the Entertainer a handful of times, and I can remember there was one time we were in Beverly Hills. We were at the Shriners, the old Shriners Club. At the time, the owner of the Shriners, who was like the son of the guy who owned it back in the day during his heyday, was trying to bring it back, and he invested a whole bunch of money into renovations and made the Shriners Club in Beverly Hills real nice again, right? And it was Brett Ernst who brought me in there, and Brett was like, yeah, this is the owner, and here's the manager, and this is their club, and they're trying to make this thing like that's like it's cool for comics, and like you should come through. We did a handful of shows there. So they would have different events and parties and bar mitzvahs and birthdays and wedding receptions, all kind of stuff, right? It was like a mixed use space, but it was really nice. So we were in there one night. This was a Friday or a Saturday, I think. It was a weekend, I believe. And it was a Black Hollywood event. So I'm in there walking around, talking to folks, working the room, doing my thing. And I look up and I'm like, oh shit, there go this Cedric the Entertainer right there. Of course, he had people around him, half a dozen or so folks, like his people, and then like the entourage and all that. So that crowd kind of moseyed over to where I was. I'm just kind of posted up close to the bar, eating some hors d'oeuvres, because it's one of those things where everything was paid for, man. All the hors d'oeuvres, all the drinks and all that. Well, I don't even know whose event it was or whatever. I just, I was one of those guys, but I knew people. So I was up in there. I wasn't invited, just kind of, came. They told me to come up. I came up. And Zell walked up on me, reached his hand out, and he was like, hey, how you doing, brother? I'm sad. And I'm like, hey, what's going on, brother? You know what I'm saying? I'm dying. You know what I mean? Like, boom. It was love. And it was one of those things where it's like two black men in Hollywood, right? It's, right away when you make eye contact with another brother, especially in Hollywood, and they come over, he knows who he is. He came over to introduce himself to me. He didn't introduce anybody in his entourage or whatever. And then when he walked away, all his people came over shaking my hand and trying to figure out who I am, because people in Hollywood don't want to make others mad. They didn't recognize me. They didn't know who I was, but I was in there. So in their mind, he's like, he must be something or somebody, especially since Cedric went over there and said hi. So that's the Hollywood shit, right? That is what it is. And, kind of just chopping it up for a hot second. And I heard someone was like, hey, Don. And I turn around and it's Corinne, Superhead. She was in there. And I hadn't seen her in like for months before that. So I'm like, what's up, girl? I ain't seen you in a minute. And that's when she had launched the book. So I hadn't seen her. It was like maybe a month before she launched the book was the last time I saw her. A month before she launched. Then the book came out and it was doing really well. And she was in there. And she was working the room as well. It was good to see her. Like I said, I'm cool with her, man. I ain't got no problems with her. There's a lot of people who they got their issues or whatever. I ain't one of them. You know what I mean? So again, this was a Black Hollywood thing. You know what I mean? Said it was cool. Real cool. Steve Harvey was in there. And I'll just chalk it up to him. Maybe he's not one of those guys that does a lot of these things, right? I didn't really know. I didn't know dude like that, but everyone I bumped into that knows Cedric the Entertainer never had anything bad to say about him. You know what I mean? That's my personal experience. Not that I was looking for any information. So yeah, Said is like that. He'll come up to you, what's up? If he see you, how you doing, brother? He legit like that, man. Come over and talk to you for real. Not asking you like, so who are you and who invited you and what group you with? He just wanted to chop it up with a brother. What's up, man? How you feeling? Like, I'm good, bro. You looking good? Like, yeah, man, life is, God is good, all that kind of stuff. It was a great conversation. So shout out to Cedric the Entertainer. You know what I mean? But let's hear Gary's take on how Steve is in the wild.
And I'm not bad mouthing Steve in this. He's just not approachable. Like, you can't just walk.
He's not
like,
approachable,
what's up, man? And you're not gonna get that immediate love you get. Steve's going, whoa, hold on. Who are you? Why are you coming up on me? He's that type. It's funny. Like in the past, like Steve looked out for me. He tried to look out for me, and it didn't work out. And I don't think, to this day, I don't think Steve ever knows why I quit his show. Some people don't know this. When Steve Harvey had the talk show, the Steve Harvey Show, he left Chicago and he moved it to L.A. And I remember I went on his show. First, I went on Steve's show to promote my reality show. And then afterwards, Steve goes, yo, I want to do some stuff with you, man. I want to work with you on some stuff. And I was like, all right. And then I'll never forget, he hit my chest. Like, I'm going to show you how to make some money, boy. I was like, all right, show me. And then I flew to Atlanta. I met with Steve when he was filming Family Feud. We sat down in his trailer. We talked. He's like, yeah, we're going to work this deal out. I'm going to bring you on as my sidekick. We're moving my show from LA. We're moving my show from Chicago to LA. And I was like, dope. I was excited, man. And
so Gary should have been excited. You feel me? There's no reason not to be excited. You got the principal of this TV show that's saying, I want you on my show. I want you to be my sidekick. I want you, we gonna get some money, kid. All that. He's saying, boy, I'm gonna show you how to make some money. Gary should have been excited. But keep in mind, Gary was on his show promoting his own TV show, his own reality show. So Gary's already a cool kid. He's already in the business. Like, the guy has everything. It's not that Steve in the situation is doing him any favors, really. It's just like, yo, man, let's get together. I believe you're gonna be able to make us money. It's gonna make my show better. We're taking to LA. It's gonna give me some diversity. With think about that. You got this black show who caters to a black audience, and one of the top white comedians in that genre is sitting in front of you. You're like, yeah, man, I want to get him on the show. That just add to the diversity that you need. Hollywood always wants diversity in every realm. Don't just think it's just, oh, we got to get more black people in and do these white shows. Like if you got a black show, they're going to want to get more white people in, more gay people in, more, like gay, lesbian, Latino, Native American. Hollywood is always looking for diversity. And Steve is probably looking at that like, oh, this is perfect. This is perfect because Gary is known in them streets, in the comedic streets, in black comedic streets. So I've never watched any of Steve Harvey stuff. I didn't watch the sitcom. I didn't watch any of his daytime shows. That's just not me. Normally I'm just too busy working, and that's just not my realm. I don't care. But if you're in a business like Gary Owens, like you definitely want to get that under your belt. That's cool. Like it's a weekly show. You got the studios behind you. There's going to be a budget. Like, yo, that's what's up. Like y'all can kind of grow some stuff. So Steve was like, I'm gonna show you. Steve goes to Gary and it's like, hey man, I want you to join the show. I want you to be my sidekick on this show. Like Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon kind of thing, right? Or, Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. Like, Jerry Lewis always played like the sidekick or whatever. That's a money move. That's cool. That's cool. That's keeping you working. You're doing a show. It's a weekly. That's a good thing in Hollywood, right? So let's continue.
I thought it was going to be like Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon type thing. I thought that's what this was about. And I'll never forget, I went on his show again about 6 months later, and they brought me on to do some Memorial Day packing episode. It was funny. We were in a car showing what you should pack, what you shouldn't pack. And then Steve goes, yo, they reach out to you? I said, no, I haven't heard anything. He goes, what? And then I got a call the next week, and this guy was like, yeah, Steve told us everything. And I had a bad feeling about this from jump. So I met with one of Steve's producers.
So we're about to get into Hollywood stuff, right? He's about to get into the Hollywood stuff. So they bring Gary back to do the show again. They do another segment. Like, it was funny. It went good. We, good chemistry. It's cool. Steve's like, hey, did they reach out to you? Gary's like, nah, I ain't heard from nobody, bro. And then the next day, someone gets in touch with him. Next day, a producer calls Gary. Now, that tells me that Steve is calling the shots. That tells me right off rip. He's more than just the talent that they brought in here. The show is his name. It's the Steve Harvey Show. He has pull. Don't know what his contract states, but the fact is, like, hey, someone needs to talk to this man, and it happened the next day. That shows me that Steve Harvey is aware, and his producers were given orders by this guy, by Steve, to go get Gary Owen and had a conversation. Remember that, because that's very important for this conversation. Brother Jackie's like, I thought he just did the Family Feud and hosted a Bad Miss America. Nah, he was out there. He's been doing a lot of stuff, bro. Black America knows how hard he's been working, but mainstream America, they just know him from, like you said, the Family Feud, and then that when he announced the wrong person. I was surprised they even hired him to do stuff after that. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. Definitely, again, goes back to what Cat Williams was saying, just some country bumpkin kind of thing. That's a huge mistake, man. Huge. Here we go.
And we had lunch, and I'm sitting here going, I'm all geeked. I'm telling him all my ideas about the show and everything. And he's shooting everything down. He goes, no, we'll handle that. We'll handle the sketches. We'll do this. And I'm just going, I'm not knocking your writers or anything, but you ain't going to tell me that whatever you're coming up with is funnier than what I'm coming up with. Because this is my audience. Who's ever watched Steve Harvey in that live audience and that's who I know how to make laugh. And now if you're going to put me on Colbert, yeah, okay, I'll fall back a little bit on that, but not Steve Harvey. And I know it's going to make Steve laugh. And this guy, who's a white dude, shooting down everything. And the way he was talking to me, it was almost like they're doing me a favor. And I remember I was so taken back. And obviously I'm not gonna get a hold of Steve with all this.
I would have got to Steve. I'd have talked to Steve about it, like, what's going on? Because I want to know if these dudes are acting on their own or if Steve told them what to do. I would have went as soon as I had a problem. I'd have went straight. I'd have went straight to the top and went to my dude. Hey man, I thought you wanted me on this show. What's going on? You tell me. And I'd have had dudes sitting there. Like, is this guy for real? Because in Hollywood, you do have gatekeepers. The gatekeepers are some of the most untalented people I've ever met in my life. So this is a perfect example. Just perfect example. What did Gary just say? Like, I know this audience. I've built my career on this audience. I'm feeding my family on this audience. Who is this white boy to come in here and just shoot down my ideas? Like, who is this guy? And Gary's just a nice dude. Like, man, I ain't trying to get into your writer's room and mess something up. And I'm certainly not telling you how to run your show or tell you, who to hire and fire as a producer. But this dude is trash. And right there, that's gonna let me know what I'm potentially getting myself into. Like, oh, this is how y'all rocking? Man, I'm good. I wouldn't have gone beyond that. Now, a big thing for me is I wasn't chasing anything. I'm not dream chasing. I had a full-time gig. I didn't give a shit. Stuff I did for fun. So it's a little bit different when you're trying to make those moves and you do want to fill out that resume. So this was like the perfect fit for Gary Owens, this crowd. But who is this dude? Like, seriously, who is this guy? So when you sit down with these Hollywood producers, they are so damn Hollywood. Like Steve Harvey, birds of a feather flock together. I've noticed, like, I've been on some sets and I've been in a couple writing rooms, just invited as a guest, to come in, like maybe give my 2 cents on something, like more of a consultant than as a writer. But I got friends who are professional writers. Hey man, come on in, man. We want to bounce some ideas off you, that sort of thing. And you come to the offices and you sit down and you're with the writers and you can tell who's Hollywood and who's not. You can tell which shows are legit and they're like, chasing a goal and they have their objectives outlined and they know what they're doing versus who's firing from the hip and who's just out here using people to get to the next level. You can tell who actually has talent and who got here because of the casting couch. You can sit there and just tell just by watching the room. Just watching the writer's room and watch how the set is run. I've been on sets where people are just absolutely miserable. They don't want to be there. As soon as the bell rings, as soon as someone yells, rap, we're done, they run out of there. And I've been on sets where people take their breaks and they sit down and they just watch the art. And I'm here to tell you, it's more fun when you're going to know sets with a good director, a good DB, a good DP, you know what I mean? And everybody above the line is really cool. They're not trying to tell you nothing. I've been on sets where I was the producer for some small budget stuff that we were doing. And all I did was walk around and make sure everyone was okay. And I started with the extras. My thing is, I'm going around to all the extras. No one knew who I was, which is great. But everyone was like, who is this guy? Because he's walking around and no one's stopping him. So they were sitting back and I would introduce myself to the extras and like, I just want to make sure I'm one of the executive producers today, for this project. Thank you so much for giving your time. I wish we had money for you. I know this is unpaid for you, but you guys need anything? You know what I mean? Anybody want some coffee? I would go get them drinks and bring them stuff. No, I'll do it. No, you sit down. I want to just make them feel comfortable and feel at home. And, they got extras spend a lot of time doing nothing. And you people, man, you want to talk about getting treated like a second class, third class citizen, fourth class citizen. That's, man, be an extra. So that's the kind of stuff that I'm doing. And when you have producers, executive producers, directors, DPs, all this kind of stuff, and they're going around and they're checking on the extras, the non-SAG extras, the people out there not even getting paid, then you're on a good set. You're dealing with people who care. And then you have the majority of the time, man, on these Hollywood sets, man, they could care less. Like, and when they realize who you are, that's when they start treating you a certain way. I walked around on sets before. I'm just visiting, and like maybe one of my friends is an executive producer, one of the producers on the project, and I'm walking around, and people come up and just nasty, and then they realize who I am or who I'm with, and then they just immediately change, and I just shake my head. You know what I mean? And I'm the dude that I'm not gonna go behind the door and say something. I'll be talking to my people like, yo, who is that? I'm like, who is that? Hey, dude's an asshole. Well, he can't be intense, but he's really good. I'm not for real. How's he here, man? Whose daddy got him in here? Hey, well, it was his uncle. His uncle, committed, 30,000. So we went ahead and gave him. All right. Sometimes it's 30 million. And the guy just sitting there with his head down. And they always try to make things up to you. It's the fakeness, man. That's the stuff that they talk about in Hollywood. There's real fakeness out there. Steve Harvey seems like he thrives in that fakeness. So the way that they were treating Gary Owens either told me they didn't know who Gary Owen was or is, or they just thought that he was beneath them. Like he said, we're doing you a favor. Like you acting like you ain't doing me no favors, bro. If anything, I'm here to lace y'all shit. Let's continue.
He's trying to put the show together. So I just fell back. I agreed to do like a 2-week run. We got like 4 months to negotiate my deal. We're not getting no negotiating done. So I come in and I'm still thinking this is going to be like Johnny Carson and McMahon. I get there and I got there early in the morning the first day. They got me backstage. I'm behind the stage. Nobody even sees me. And I'm announcing Steve. So I'm like the voice of God. You just hear my voice, but you don't see me. So I did the whole first week and nobody ever saw me. I was in no sketches. They didn't include me in anything. I just basically went, give it up for Steve Harvey. I announced the guest. And then I just go back to my dressing room and I sit. We would do like 2 episodes in a day and I go sit. And
that's a smack in the face. That is a smack in the face, bro. That's what you have someone really like me doing. If I'm not coming in as a producer, if I haven't committed a bunch of money to the project, or if I'm not coming, you know what I mean? If I'm just some comedian that you like, you heard me and you want to help me out, that's what you have me do. That's what you have, just some regular up and coming comic do. You don't have Gary Owen do that. What? That's a smack in the face. You are literally wasting his time. Remember, he came across Steve. They paths crossed because he was a guest on the Steve Harvey Show twice. Steve was like, I'm going to show you how to make some money, boy. I'm about to take care of you, bro. Come on with me, man. 4 months to negotiate his contract. You see what Gary said? Hey, man, you need to get him on set. You're going to have paperwork. Gary ain't going to just come hang out. He's going to have paperwork. You're going to have to pay him to sit there. And they're not even trying to work out his contract, which means they're taking advantage of the fact that he's cool with Steve Harvey. Now, what's Steve Harvey doing all this time, right? Gary is swearing like, man, I doubt if Steve knows anything about this. He probably has no idea that this happened. Bullshit. Steve Harvey might have been the reason why they wasn't trying to negotiate your contract properly. Man, we ain't gonna give him nothing, man. We can get him for pennies on a dollar. We can do this. We can do that. We can stretch this out. That could have been coming from Steve. I'm not saying that it was, but it could have been. That's how Hollywood works. You got to be careful. Wonderful 34 in the building. What's good, fam? Good to see you, brother. Good to see you. That's how Hollywood works. That's why if anyone who's watching this now or anyone who might be watching this in the future, you thinking about getting into the business, man, out there in Hollywood, or if you're a rapper or a producer or something like that, you thinking about getting into the music business, man, get your paperwork right. Have your paperwork ready. Have it ready. Because people will take advantage of you if you let them. They could care less, especially when you got something that they want. Steve probably wanted to work with Gary because Gary is such an open person. Everyone loves him. He's created a reputation that's unblemished. He's a good dude. He's gonna take care of people. He ain't out here. He ain't on this fuckery. He ain't Hollywood. He a solid guy that's about the art. That's why Steve wanted him, if you ask me. Because by this time, people was probably like, man, I ain't trying to fuck with Steve Harvey. Oh, he got Gary on the show? Right? How many times have you done something for someone that you don't like? Like, I don't even like this person, but you did it because they cool with someone you know. Someone vouched for him. Like, oh, word, this your man for real? Hey, man, I know he messed up the last time, but I'm telling you, bro, that was a mistake. That was a one-off. Man, do me a solid, man. All right, bro. All right. As a comedian, I do it all the time. This dude, for real? Come on, man. I was winning when he did such and such and such and such. I was there that night. Oh, come on, man. That was a one-off. He had his dog had a heart attack or something, man. His ferret ran away. You know what I mean? His girlfriend wouldn't give him none. They come up with all these, come on, man. That was a one-off. All right. But you're doing it because of someone else. And I'm thinking maybe Steve was thinking if I could get Gary by my side, I could get more people willing to come over here and make this show better. Because dude's coming to LA probably doesn't really know a lot of people, and the people that he knows probably like, stay away from Steve. That's what I'm thinking. I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Let's continue.
Come back out, announce for 30 seconds, and go sit. And I go, this ain't what I thought this was. So then I told him, I said, am I going to do any sketches, anything? And then the next week, they put me in a couple sketches, and I got to come out in front of the camera a couple times. And even when I got announced, the crowd was like, oh, snap, Gary Owen. And I just remember after the second week, we said, okay, we're ready to negotiate now. I've been there 2 weeks. And keep in mind, they were filming on Mondays and Fridays. I couldn't work on the weekends. I'm giving up all my stand-up money. But I looked at the bigger picture. I wanted to be a part of the show with Steve. Steve was telling me how maybe we can, when I'm on the show, we'll do a spinoff later. And we go negotiate, like, yeah, we want to do 2 more weeks with them. I'm getting paid like SAG minimum.
Again, smack in the face. At least he's SAG. If he wasn't SAG, it'd have been less than that. He's getting paid day rates, SAG minimum. That's insane. That's insane. I know people who are extra to get better than SAG minimum when they go to shoot a commercial and they're just standing there on standby. The director just wants them there just in case, and they're getting paid more than what Gary was talking about in this story. And Gary Owens is a name, especially in that genre. We got to understand, we're not talking about like A-list Hollywood, B-list Hollywood. We're talking about this TV show in that realm, like in the black comedy realm, BET, Comic View, you know what I mean, that realm. This is a big show. And Gary's a big name. Brother Lou's in the building. What's good, fam? Good to see you. He's like, I wish Gary would have done something with KS. I am imagining all the jokes rip. Yeah, man. That, yeah. And I don't know where Gary stands on the whole red pill thing, manosphere stuff. I don't know. Maybe we'll get lucky and he'll see this and leave a comment or something like that, and I can holler at him, man. If anything, just to talk Cincinnati stuff, bro. Because he's probably, if he's watching this, he's going to like, bro, you from Cincinnati? Yes, Gary, I'm from Cincinnati, man. Avondale, baby. Avondale, I went to Woodward. You know what time it is, A1, baby. You know what time it is. They'll see that and be like, okay. And I wonder where Gary's from. It's probably the West Side. Man, you a Price Hill dude, Gary? You a Price Hill dude? Could be. I wouldn't be surprised. But Gary Owen worked himself up to a position where, mind you, he's already had, like you said, he was on the Steve Harvey Show to promote his reality show. He's had a Fox program. He's had stuff in the mix, and the insiders know. Like the cool kids, the Hollywood cool kids, the producers and stuff like that, they know what's going on in Hollywood. They know about all the shows that are being considered. They know about all the shows that are shooting. They know all the shows when they go before the test markets and stuff like that. They know this. They know the series that get canceled before they air. They know everything. So of course you're gonna know. I mean, if anything, you just look at their IMDb if you don't know nothing else. So maybe Steve brought a bunch of people from Chicago when he moved the show to LA, and maybe they didn't know, but I doubt it. And the fact that Gary was just saying, yeah, Steve and I have been talking through this process about this and that and making a spinoff show and this and this and this. So you're going to tell me that Steve is sitting around here talking to you about the future, but he has no idea what his producers are saying to you. He has no idea that his producers are jacking you around and not negotiating your contract. They're not negotiating in good faith. He doesn't know this. Come on, man. You mean to tell me he's not checking in with those producers, say, hey, where are we at with Gary? Once a week? I mean, I'd be asking that every day. That'd be part of my thing. I'd be getting briefed on that twice a day, especially after the first fumble, when I had to tell you to go talk to him in the first place after y'all didn't do anything. When I first told you to go, no one hollered at him. So I had to go come to y'all and say, talk to this man. And the next day you start talking to him. I'd have been on your ass. From that point forward, where I want to get briefed every day. Where are we? How much does he want? So Gary's people is going to negotiate. Here's the contract. We don't need to talk about a contract. Here is our contract. We know what's going on here. Here's our contract. What are y'all thinking? What are y'all offering? And we meet somewhere in the middle. That's how it works. That's a day and a half, 2 days worth of work. Honestly, it's nothing. Then it goes to the lawyers. It comes back. You know what I mean? Everything's good. You sign it. Bam, we good. We know exactly what we're doing. That didn't happen. And you mean to tell me that after weeks sitting around announcing in the background, I'm losing money. I'm not going out to the clubs, losing my weekend money, which is how comedians survive. You know me, from project to project. I'm losing money. I'm losing visibility. I'm in here. Okay, now y'all give me a little bullshit. You know what I mean? Sketch here and there or whatever. I come out. Y'all finally put me in front of the camera. The place goes crazy. Oh, oh snap, they got Gary. And these producers are sitting there like that. Right there should have made it click. Like, oops, we messed up something here. Let's keep this going. Nah, man, Steve knew about this the whole time. He had to, bro.
Minimum wage is what I got paid, and I'm going. I can't do this for another 2 weeks. I've already lost a bunch of money. I lost 2 weekends of work. Now I'm going to lose 2 more weekends, and I don't know after these 2 weeks are you going to hire me or not. I can't take a month off basically, and I'll just never forget. We weren't shooting 4 days. We were shooting like 3 days a week. So on one, but it was spread out. It was like Monday, Tuesday, Friday we filmed. It was like I couldn't do any stand up on the weekends. And I just remember the second week I did 2 weeks of the Steve Harvey Show. I did 1 day of Hip Hop Squares, the show D-Ray used to host. And I filmed 3 episodes in 1 day of Hip Hop Squares. It made 4 times the money I made doing 2 weeks of the Steve Harvey Show. And I go, well, this is backwards. I'm just a square. I'm one of 9, and I'm not even the host. And I made money on Hip Hop Squares, and I did there's only 2 people on the show every week, me and Steve. And I go, they weren't even trying to hear anything I said. And this was,
again, there's absolutely no way that Steve Harvey was not aware of this situation. Gary Owen is giving up money. Gary Owen is giving up money to be there to work this thing out with Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey asked him to join him. Hey, man, I want you to be my sidekick. Hey, man, we finna get in here and make some money, bro. We finna get the bag, man. Come on in here with me, man. I need you to blow this show up. Fine. You got him in here wasting 2 weekends. Right now, think about it. Someone like Gary Owen, I'm not trying to pocket watch or anything like that, but at that time in his career, he was probably easily making $5,000 to $10,000 a show when he hit the road per show. Think about that. He might do 2 shows a day at the comedy spot. So if he had, the mom and pop comedy club, you name the city, and he's there for Friday and Saturday, 2 shows on Friday, 2 shows on Saturday, maybe a show on Sunday. That's 5 shows at a minimum $5,000 a show. That's how much money he's leaving behind. Think about that, man. Minimum $5,000 a show, $10,000 a day for 2.5 days. You know what I mean? He could do that. Now, again, it could fluctuate. Again, I'm not getting in his pockets or whatever. But even if it's only $1,500 a show, he's still going to do at least 4, maybe up to 6 shows over Friday, Saturday, maybe, early show on Sunday, and he could fly back. In fact, he probably do 2 or 3 shows on Sundays because he was saying they filmed on Friday and Monday, which meant he needed to be here, which means he couldn't be flying back from wherever. So he's giving that up. Think of how much money he's giving up to sit there. And then they're not even they're paying him a SAG day rate. And why were they paying that? Because that's what they had to pay by law. That's the contract. That's why you want to be in a union. And this is why you have agents negotiate for you. Steve's agent trying to do, Gary's agent trying to do the job he's supposed to do. Like, man, these people wasting your time, homie. And then they won't even listen to you creatively. And nah, Gary, Steve had to know what was going on. He wants you on his show. He has to know. He has to know. I refuse to believe that he was so busy with transferring the show from Chicago to LA that he can't look in on the very talent he wants to better the show. Man, he knew exactly what was going on. Brother Lou, so Tarazi isn't the only one going through pay disparities. It's rough out here for a pimp. Hey, man, Hollywood's dog eat dog, man. This is why you got to have the best agent. This is why you got to have the best manager. Your people better know what's going on. And I'm pretty sure Gary's people would tell him, like, all right, man, this is a waste of time, man. Whatever you want to do is up to you. But I say you move on. So let's see what happens next.
Well, keep in mind, this is not on Steve Harvey. This was the powers that be behind the scenes. So now I said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not coming back.
I think it is on Steve Harvey. Steve Harvey is the power to be. This show is his show. There's no way he's locked out on negotiations on something like this, especially with a person that he wants on the show. The producers ain't got a problem saying, nah, this guy's too expensive. We can't afford him or something like that. Maybe they told him that. Hey, we don't have a budget for your sidekick, man. So if you want him, you're going to have to pay him. It's going to come out of your pay. And maybe Steve was just kind of, well, let me drag this out a little bit. Maybe I can get him to do it for a little bit of nothing. I can sell him on it, right? So you go tell him, man, we're going to do a spinoff and da-da-da-da-da. This is just how cool Gary Owens is. Gary's like, come on, man, that's my guy, man. There's no, in his mind, it's like, there's no way he knows about this. I'm not going to bring it to his attention. He's too busy. You see why Steve wanted Gary?
And then we gave him a number and they never got back to us. And literally they thought I was going to show up Monday. I was like, I'm not coming. And I guess they thought I was coming because they got there and I guess they scrambled that Monday. I told them not coming without a contract. And then, so this is, like I said, this is not a knock on Steve. I never went to this with Steve. I don't even know Steve knew any of this happened. I was just like, I was so taken back. So here's what really took me back. My first day of filming the show, they put me in a big, beautiful dress room. I was like, oh, okay, they're taking care of me, right? Keep in mind, Steve's on like the third floor. I'm on the first, and this is where all the guests stay on the first floor. So I'm in this big, beautiful dress. I'm like, oh, great, they're taking care.
So he's like, oh, great, they're taking care of me. Big, beautiful dress room. This is important, y'all. This part of the story is important. If you want to know where you are in the pecking order on the set, you need only look at your dressing room. I mean, I even know that. You know what I mean? You need only look at your dressing room. And all that's normally covered in your contract and your writers is what they offer. It is what it is. Those star wagons and stuff like that back in the day, I don't know what they're using now. But that's probably what kept Gary around as long as he was around. That month or whatever he spent, that 3 to 5 weeks that he spent hanging around there. That's probably why he was like, oh, okay. And he was thinking like, there's no way that Steve doesn't know that this is going on. And I'm telling you, I think Steve knew exactly what was going on the whole time. Brother Lou, all the money Gary was supposed to make went into that perfect high top fade unit Steve was wearing. Oh, you wrong. You wrong, bro. You wrong. I gotta have a button for that, man. I gotta have it. You know what? This is what you gonna say something like that, and this is what Steve gonna say to you, bro. That high top fade. This is what Steve gonna say.
You know what? That makes me mad.
They gonna take care of you, bro. You know what? That makes me mad. That's why he got rid of that big old that high top fade unit. Yeah, he did his thing. But anyway, if you want to know where you fit in the pecking order, bro, all you need to do, right, is look at your dressing room. And you can tell if they care about you or not, right? So let's listen to this story about this dressing room, guys. Pay close attention.
Care of me. They come in. Again, the white producers was like, you gotta get out. They said, our first guest is Chelsea Handler. And they like, this was actually where she filmed Chelsea lately. And this was her dressing room when she was here. So I was like, oh, so I thought it was just like when Chelsea leaves, I'll be back in the dressing room. No, they literally tried to put me in a closet. And I'm not exaggerating. It was a closet. There was no bathroom. There was no mirrors. It was a room. And there was a desk that was broken down with like a chair. And that was it. And I was like, where's the bathroom? So the guy started to walk down the hall and he was like, yeah, you got to come to the bathroom down here. And he started to walk and he looked back. He goes, Gary. I said, oh, I'm not using no public bathroom. I'm here every day, all day. I know how this works. You can't find me a dressing room with a bathroom. And I was like, I told him, I said, I'll never be using that bathroom. I didn't know you're walking me down there. And I sat in the hallway and then another white lady came over and she was like, this is his dressing room. And I was like, I'm not. Here's my thing was, I'll be damned if the guests that are coming in, and if you A-list is different, but we had YouTubers on, we had social media, just people that just did a funny sketch on social media would come on, and they were getting better dress rooms than me, and I'm there every day, all day. And I said, mm-mm. I just stood in the hallway. I said, what do you want to do? I can leave. And then it was like, and God bless one of the, I don't know if it was a black producer, I can't remember. It was a black lady that was on staff. She goes, Gary, come here. I got you. I got you. And then she ended up putting me in a dressing room. She pulled me aside. Here comes a black woman to the rescue. She pulled me to the side and found me a dressing room, which wasn't big, but I had a couch, I had a mirror, I had a desk, and I had a bathroom. So thank you. But
I'm telling you, a lot of people believe that, oh man, you just talking about a dressing room. How important can a dressing room be? The dressing room was important enough to get Gary to see what was going on. It opened his eyes. I think at that point, and he's not saying it, but at that point he realized, man, these people on some BS. And then he probably got on the phone with his agents like, yo, give them the ultimatum. Give them my number. This is how much I'm going to do it for. Right? That's it. Final offer, non-negotiable. And if they don't get back to us, that's it. I ain't coming back. And I think that's what opened his eyes, because it people will, I'm telling you, they will sell you a dream and they will take full advantage of you. And I absolutely refuse to believe that Steve Harvey didn't know. I absolutely refuse to believe that his producers were so bold that they're going to take his guy. This is the guy you want to be on this program with you, and put him in a closet. Come on now. Now we transition again. If it's just some open micer or some comedian out there who doesn't even feature for nobody, who just has a really good 8 minutes and Steve is trying to help him out, yeah, you could put that guy in the closet. That guy's just happy to be on the set. He's not SAG. You know what I mean? He's really nobody, and he's getting an opportunity to be the fly on the wall. That guy, yeah. That's how they're treating Gary Owen. Who gave the marching orders? It had to come from the guy at the top. It had to come from Steve. I mean, he ain't that important. I'm just trying to help him out a little bit. I just want to use, we just got a white boy with us. The crowd will like it. Oh, okay. He ain't nobody. That is what it sounds like what happened to me. And Gary finally was like, oh, this ain't working. But Gary doesn't want to accept that this possibly came from Steve. Yeah, I mean, that's he just doesn't want to accept it. It's like, there's no way Steve would do me like this. Yeah, Steve Hollywood, bro. This is how Hollywood people move. They don't care about you. If they come to you and say, hey, I need you to, hey, man, I'm going to give you this opportunity, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm going to do you this favor. Like, nah, you doing them a favor. They need something from you. It's the only reason they came to you. He already said at the top of the show, Steve is that guy. He ain't talking to nobody. He a prima donna. What you walking up on me for? Who is you? Why are you here? Why are you talking? Unlike said, hey, how you doing? How your mama doing? Good to see you, brother. What's up? Steve is the dude. He is the Hollywood guy. This is what Cat Williams is talking about. Anybody who will go out and knowingly take somebody's material, a comic, take another comic's material, man, they don't care, bro. They don't care, bro. They just trying to get there. Their mission is to be successful, come hell or high water. They don't care. Carlos Mencia is another one. Dane Cook. These people and their reputations, they can't shake it. Once they got there and started making money, they couldn't shake the reputation. Then nobody want to deal with them. You can't fall back. You got people waiting on you. You can't fall back. It's like you stabbing people in the back, climbing up the ladder. You just digging a knife in, going up the ladder. When you fall on them, people gonna reach out their hand and try to stop, grab you. They're gonna let you fall. Maybe that's where Steve Harvey had worked himself into. Maybe that's where he is right now. He's being smashed up against that glass ceiling. He ain't going any further. And now you got Cat Williams out there shining a big old light on it. You know what I mean? Like, dude ain't shit. And I could prove he ain't shit. And then you got this random story who comes from a guy who actually likes Steve Harvey. But Gary's is like telling the story, like, man, I can't believe there's no way Steve knew. Absolutely, Steve Harvey was aware of the mistreatment that Gary Owens was getting from his producers. Those producers work for Steve Harvey. Well, they work for the studio or whatever, but they're under Steve Harvey. Like, hey, y'all, nah, man, this Steve Harvey. It's a show. He's executive producer. You know what I mean? So this is the guy I want for my show, and y'all treat him like this, and no one's head rolled. You know what I mean? Steve didn't. Hey, what's up? He didn't ask any questions when Steve didn't show up on that Monday. Steve didn't ask any questions. Steve didn't call him, text him, really call him. Hey, what's going on, man? So Gary could have told him, like, oh man, they treated me like shit, man. They literally tried to put me in a damn closet, man. They took me out of the proper dressing room. That dressing room should have been his. That's the one. You the co-host. This is what your dressing room. Matter of fact, his dressing room should have been closer to Steve's. If Steve was on 3, dude should have been at least on 2. Should have been at least on the second floor, right up under him or something like that. You get, you got hair, you got makeup, you got wardrobe, you got all that. You need all that room. You got your people coming in there, man. You got your agents, you got your managers, whatever dealings you got going on. You need to have all that sort of access. That's how Hollywood works. If you're going to be the dude, this is how they treat you. If they treat you like, they're treating him worse than, again, they treating him like an extra, unpaid, non-SAG extra. And Gary gave up all that money to be there, bro. He gave up all those opportunities out there in the streets to be there because he believed in Steve. Never believe in a Hollywood motherfucker. When people sitting here selling you the dream, they talking all that talk, man, that's fine. Let me see the contract. That's fine. You can say what you want to say. We're going to be doing this down the third. That's great, man. And as soon as we sign a contract, I'll be there. I'm not even coming before that. I'm not even in the union, guys, and I know that. I'm not in the union. Nah, bro. I ain't even coming out there till we get this settled. We're going to get this settled right off rip. Otherwise, there's no, why am I there? I could be doing something else. Right? So I cannot believe for a second that Steve Harvey was not aware of the treatment that Gary Owen was getting on Steve Harvey's set. Remember, this is the set for the Steve Harvey Show in LA. Brother Lou, confessions for years. I hated on Cat Williams because I thought he was a copycat of Cat in the Hat. Oh, wow, for real. Cat Williams talked about that. He said Disney gave him a cease and desist. He couldn't use the Cat in the Hat anymore. That's funny. Here's the thing, like and of course I know who Cat Williams is. You see Cat in the trenches. Like Cat was in LA doing this thing. You saw him, you know what I mean? I was never really a fan. Again, I wasn't doing quote unquote black comedy. I wanted to be known as a mainstream comic. So I'm coming up in mainstream rooms. So I stayed away from that. I would be there and just to enjoy the show because as a comic, all the houses, they recognize you. So I can go into the Laugh Factory. I could go into the Comedy Store. I could even get into the Improv. Like I could get in there, Ice House and all the rest of it. I could get in there and just kind of post up and watch the shows, which was great. As a comedian, that's what you wanted to do, but I never wanted to perform. One of the times I bombed the worst was at Chocolate Sundays. I was just up there just hanging out. Nobody was there. There was no other comics. Normally it's like packed full of comics. No one was there. You know what I mean? And they ran up on me like, hey man, you up next. You ready? Huh? I went up and bombed, y'all. Bombed. I ate shit. It was terrible. But I psyched myself out of it. I talked to that's when I talked to Brett Ernst, a few weeks after, and that's when Brett told me, shout out to Brett Ernst. He was like, funny is funny, man. You should be able to rock any crowd. Doesn't matter what color they are. Age, it could be the Chinese crowd, Japanese crowd, Korean crowd, American crowd, black, white, Italian. It does not matter. Southern boys, Northern boys, it don't matter, man. Funny is funny. And after that, I was, okay, I can perform anywhere, anytime. And the reason I bombed, I was in my own head. You know what I mean? So, yeah, and that was at the peak. I remember I got on stage. Vince Young was there. He had just got drafted. It was like, he's coming off that Rose Bowl win. He was sitting right next to Jamie Foxx, man. The house was packed. And I did the worst 3 minutes ever, bro. It was painful, but I learned from it. You know what I mean? I learned from it. It was so bad. Jamie Foxx was like, he was like, work it out, brother. And I just couldn't do it. I psyched myself out, but I needed that. That was the growth spurt. Once I did that, I bombed horribly. And I bombed because I didn't try, really. I didn't try. If I just went up there and just tried my thing, I didn't try. And that was it. I'm not saying I never bombed again, of course, but I never bombed because I didn't try anymore. I never did that again. Like no matter what, I'm gonna run. I got 8 to 12 minutes for any room, anywhere. And right after that, I started performing at the hostels because you have all these youth hostels all throughout Hollywood. You had kids from Australia, UK, Japan, South Korea, New Zealand, you know what I mean? Spain, Brazil. You would have kids at these hostels from all over the world. And I would just play the hostels. I would do, 2 or 3 hostels a week just to go in there. And I'm like, now I can perform for the world. I mean, I ain't just working. And now, if I get a chance to do a black room, someone, hey man, can you come do 5 minutes over here in this one spot? I'll go do it. I didn't care. I did every room. And I began to work really hard as a comedian, still being an air traffic controller during the day. You know what I mean? We got sister, Miss AKA ladies in the building. What's good, sis? What's good? Looks like that nasty weather missed y'all over there where you at, but it hit us pretty hard over here. I don't know if the rain reached over there, y'all, but boy, it was torrential over this joint. Torrential. So yeah, man. I'm sitting here trying to remember who was running Chocolate Sundays at that time. It wasn't Pookie. Anybody was out here know what I'm talking about? This Pookie guy. He went by Pookie, man. I ain't making the name up. It was dang, what is his name? He had his own TV show. Let me see if I can find him. And the show bombed. And then it was a national TV show. It was called Vibe, I think, like that, man. It was a night show. And we used to watch Vibe. Back in the day, just to watch him bomb. And he was like one of the funniest comics in Hollywood, brother. So funny. Chris Spencer. That was his name. So the show was created by Quincy Jones. Chris Spencer was the first host, and then they brought Sinbad in. And then Sinbad ran it for a year. It was only on for a year. They had to replace Chris Spencer mid-series. We used to clown on that brother back in Cincinnati. I wasn't a comedian back then, whatever. And having, moving to LA and getting into the comedy business, Chris Spencer is a beast to this day. One hell of an actor too. And, it was Chris who walked up to me. I was sitting upstairs. He's looking for comics. And he was like, you ready? Let's go. And I went up and bombed. And, maybe that was, maybe that was karma getting back at me for making fun of Chris, because he had this opportunity, this national talk show, this late night talk show. And it didn't go the way he had hoped. And I mean, just imagine the pressure, bro. But it didn't keep him down. He bounced right back. He started doing a bunch of movies, and he was running Chocolate Sundays. And Chocolate Sundays was the best comedy show, second only to the show that was at Dublin's, and it has the longest run. I mean, it's still going. So, like Chris Spencer, man, if Chris manages to see this or happens to see this, bro, salute to you, brother. I learned so much watching Chris Spencer host Chocolate Sundays when I was in LA learning how to be a comedian. Like when I first started as an open micer, I would just sit back and be awed the way that he could control the crowd. And Chocolate Sundays was a black night, but he'll be in there on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday as well, because he was a headliner at the Laugh Factory, and he would control the mainstream crowd. We just have him in the palm of his hand. And it was the same material. And again, this is what Brett was saying. Brett Ernst was like, man, funny is funny, man. It doesn't matter. He did the exact same stuff. He may have paused here or there differently, or, maybe an inflection change, but it was just brilliant stuff. And I would sit there and I would watch this brother. And, shout out to you, Chris Spencer, wherever you are, bro, because that man is a beast in the game, a beast, and one hell of a writer, actor. I bet you he can direct. I bet you can do all that, man. Shout out to Chris Spencer, man. Yep. And Brother Lou, you're right. Chris Spencer and Mark Curry are awesome comics and overall people, facts, writers, all that, man. You're right. And those, like, for Steve Harvey to take from Mark Curry like that. Mark Curry is one of the trailblazers. For Steve Harvey to literally still, like, hanging with Mr. Cooper thing. Wow, it tells you everything you need to know about them people. Those are the Hollywood types, man. By all means necessary, they don't care. Steve Harvey can't defend it because he doesn't care. He got there. He's got the millions. He's at the top, man. It's kind of like J-Lo. They talk about J-Lo and all the things she may or may not have done to get where she is. She got there. And then you say, oh, it's lonely at the top, especially if you did some fuckery to get there. I bet it is lonely at the top. Who are you going to fall back on? No one wants to holler at you. You're like a leper, bro. You just out there. Hope I didn't offend any lepers out there. Sorry, my bad. I don't want to get canceled. Me over here talking about leprosy. You know what I mean? My bad. I don't want to get canceled. But Trent Spencer, Mark Curry, you know what I mean? Those two guys to this day are out there getting it. They're cool kids, right? They're not Hollywood, but they're cool kids. They're not the bad kids. They're out there doing good work. You know, and I ain't gonna lie to you, man. I'm Chris, if you out there, man, I hope you get another show, man. I hope you get another shot, bro. I would love to see him on a night show or just interviewing folks doing that like a talk show. Because the brother is sharp, man. Sharp, working hard, doing this thing. You know what I mean? He gets a Don DeMarco for that, bro. I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Don DeMarco.
Don DeMarco.
Chris Spencer, man. So that's not who brother Gary was dealing with. Brother Gary over here dealing with Steve. And he's sitting there like, there's no way that Steve would know about this stuff. And I never told him. He's never heard this story. Let's continue.
To this day, I still don't know if Steve knows that story, but that's why you barely saw me on the Steve Harvey Show. And that's why I was on there for 2 weeks. And all you heard was my voice. And I remember thinking, my manager was like, did you tell Steve? I go, no, I'm not going to him. He's 2 floors above me. He's got to deal with this. He just moved the show from Chicago to LA. I'm not going to bother him like, hey, man, they ain't taking care of me. Because my thing is like, the producer should have took care of me. The studio should have took care of me. I was just like, I was a little taken back by it. So that's why you never saw me. And that's probably and I don't know, Steve, if you ever watched the podcast, I don't know, but that's why I never came back to work on that Monday. Was that reason?
I mean, bro. Steve Harvey knew. Steve Harvey knew, man. How is it that they never had a conversation? How is it that he didn't show up on Monday and Steve didn't pick up the phone and like, hey, man, what's going on? Where you at, bro? Come on now. What? Steve asked, hey, producers, where's Gary? And everyone was just like, oh, I guess he just don't want to do the show. Steve, I guess he's just gone. Come on, man. I'm asking questions. You asking questions. You feel me? Cody's King's in the building. What's good, Cody? How you feeling, bro? If I have a show in Hollywood and let's say it's just a comedy show, like let's say that I'm running Chocolate Sundays. Let's say I'm running one of the premier shows in Hollywood, which I did once for a very, very short period, man. We were rocking it for a second, man, right there on at the Cabo Cantina, no, Corona Cantina. We were at anyway. It's a great show. It was a great show. We had the best comics in town, man. It was amazing. But let's say we're doing that. We go back in time. We're at Corona Cantina. We got the hottest show. It's my show. And I want Brother Lou and I want Cody as King on the show. And for some reason, they don't get on the show. You best believe I'm talking to my producers what happened. But first, before I even talk to my producers, I'm getting them on the phone. Yo, Lou, Cody, what's going on, man? What happened? I told my people to take care of you. They ain't do shit, man. They didn't give me a proper gesture room, man. They were negotiating in bad faith, man. They don't want to sign any contracts, bro. They don't listen to me. I'm trying to give them, trying to collab and try to make the show better, man. They don't want to do that. They got me just talking into a microphone. Nah, bro. Think about that part of the story. I was backstage off camera talking to a microphone, introducing the guest or whatever, introducing Steve, and Steve Harvey doesn't know. Bro, the fact that Steve, you want him to be your sidekick, he's behind a wall talking into a microphone and you're out in front of the cameras and you ain't saying, why isn't he? You didn't just say, hey, man, come on. Hey, we got a special treat for y'all. Hey, Gary, come on out here, Gary. We got a special treat for y'all. Gary comes out, crowd goes crazy. That's all he had to do. He could do that at any point. It's his show. That's all he had to do. Nah, Gary, I'm sorry, brother. I know we don't know each other personally, man, but we from the Natty, man. We gonna keep it 100, bro. Steve knew, man. Gary just being nice. Steve knew. He knew. He absolutely knew what was going on. And he might have been instructing his producers to do exactly what they did. Just trying to run some sort of game on Gary Owen. And it was working a little bit. This is why I'm always talking about game, y'all. This that Hollywood game, bro. This that corporate game. You got to know, you got to see it and understand it. This is, oh man, this dude trying to run game on me. Let me get the hell up out of here. This woman trying to run game on me. Let me get the hell up out of here. This dude over here, these kids trying to run game on me. Let me tell their mom and tell their daddy. You got to be able to spot it whenever someone's running some sort of game on you. This politician, this police officer, this judge, this prosecutor. You got to see it coming, man. Game trumps all. You got to see it. Gary didn't see it until he was forced to see it, until the ultimate disrespect came. We're going to take you out of the dress room you should be in, and we're going to put you in a closet, literally. That's when he was like, all right, fuck this. That's when he was like, oh, y'all don't know who I am. Y'all got me fucked up. That's what he was thinking. He just didn't want to say it. And he probably doesn't want to allow himself to believe that the very guy who asked him to be on the show is the guy who's behind the fuckery. He just doesn't want to admit that. And it goes back to what Cat Williams was saying. People are a certain type of way. But when y'all hear me call somebody Hollywood, if I'm like, yo, dude was on some Hollywood shit, or the little shorty was on some Hollywood shit, that's what I'm talking about. And those little producers under the talentless hacks that were producers underneath Steve Harvey, what did they do to get those spots? Obviously, they weren't professional, save the one woman, it says the sister who actually went out and got him the dressing room, which the others said that they didn't have or he couldn't get. She got him a proper dressing room. It was good enough. It wasn't where it should have been, but it was good enough. She took care of the business. She was professional. But the rest of them, the white producers, how did they get those jobs? Who told Steve Harvey to hire them? And that's the stuff that moves Hollywood. You don't have to be the most talented. You don't have to be the most funny. Like when Cat Williams was talking about Tiffany Haddish, and that's when that whole thing with the Wanda Smith popped off because she was mad about how Cat Williams was talking about Tiffany Haddish. I only saw Tiffany Haddish wasn't in the open mics that I was doing, and I never saw her at most of the top rooms in LA. You know what I mean? Like the Westwood Brew Co. I never saw her there. I didn't see her at Dublin's. You know what I mean? When Dublin's was popping, and she was certainly out there. I didn't see her like as a paid regular at the Improv or the Comedy Store. So at the Laugh Factory every now and then, but never as a paid regular. I never saw her at Ha Ha. I didn't see her anywhere where all the comics were. I didn't see her at any of the bar rooms, you know, where the comics were. I didn't see any of that. Right. So, and when I did see her at the Laugh Factory, I was like, she wasn't a comic people were running to go see. And that goes to what Cat Williams was saying. Like, man, talentless. So how did you get there? Well, listen to Tiffany Haddish's routines, and she tells you exactly how she got there. And I ain't mad. Do what you got to do, baby. To whoever you got to do it to. Right? She was, you know, she's sexy and she's wild like that, and she's hanging out with other comics, and they're taking her to these parties. And bam, she gets the opportunity. Now, she was funny enough. She was funny enough to get on stage wherever she's getting on stage back then. And then she was good enough to read these parts and get these roles. And bam, here she is. She's good. But she has that problem with those children for whatever funny or die thing she was trying to do. I don't know if you guys know about that, but I don't know what they was thinking when they did that. But hey, you know what I mean? We all got to answer for whatever it is we do. It is what it is. Sister Candace is in the building. What's good, sis? Good evening to you. Thank you so much for coming through. Always a pleasure to see you. You know what I mean? Brother Ted's in the building. What's good, Ted? You know what I mean? Sister Candace like, yeah, Tiffany Haddish is not funny. I said what I said, and she's not. She's not the only one. right? We talk about it on this platform all the time. You do not have to be funny to be successful in the stand-up world. You don't have to be. Turn on Netflix right now. Put in stand-up in the search and look at all those Netflix specials. I just got finished watching one. It's one of it's the Greek guy we were just talking about yesterday. We were reacting to him and Joe Rogan. It's one of Joe Rogan's people. And I watched his special. I chuckled a little bit, and I mean, it is what it is. I'm not saying anything. Just, it didn't make me laugh, but I'm not his audience. I'm looking at his audience. And I'm like, all right, cool. That's what technology has done. Now you have comedians, these obscure comedians who can find their audience and get plugged in because of what's going on with YouTube. And, you got Joe Rogan acting as a funnel for some of these. There's a lot of people that like a lot of the, Joe Rogan comedians. I mean, I guess. I mean, it's whatever floats your boat, man. There's people out there who don't appreciate my style of comedy, and I understand that. I get that, and I get laughs. Like when I go to my places, I get laughs, just like the Rogan comics get laughs. It is what it is. But there are some people out there who simply aren't funny. Like, I would love to be in a room and be able to follow, like Sam Tripoli, Brett Ernst. I would love to follow Dave Chappelle. I would love to follow Chris Rock or Tony Rock. Tony Rock is hilarious. I love following comics that are way funnier than me because that's going to make me get better. I would love to follow Bill Burr after he destroys the room. I would love to go in there and just try to run him. I love to follow my guy Ty Barnett. Ty Barnett is a top tier comedian. I love following Ty because I gotta bring my A game. But the comics that have got these Netflix specials and these people who have gotten there with no talent, they don't want to follow anybody. They want to do their own thing, right? Say what they got to say and run up out of there. They're not trying to get better. They don't have to be. They didn't get there on talent. They got there with other stuff. But they're still there. So once you get there, you got to stay. If you got the staying power, that's all that matters. Steve Harvey has the staying power. I've looked at a lot of, I remember when the Kings of Comedy was going around. This is when I was living in Cincinnati. Went to the shows. Bernie Mac would always blow the roof off the joint. Steve Harvey did whatever he did. It was, like, all right, you still laughed or whatever because you're just having a good time. Got a couple jokes out there, but it was more just the acting out and the loudness and the whatever. And then, Sid knows what he's doing. Sid, he knows how to tell good stories. And it'll make you laugh like, all right, cool. But Bernie, man, he was like another level. DL Hughley, man, he's another level. Right? Tommy Davidson, another one. Another level. So you just want to get there, you know what I mean? You just want to get there. Miss AK Ailey is saying, Tiffany can't shake that laugh or die skit. Now, she's never going to be able to shake that, girl. It was just too bad. That was terrible. Not sure how they got published. Well, back then, they weren't with that Funny or Die or Laugh or Die, whatever that was. You shot whatever you shot, and you just uploaded it. They didn't really have any checks back then. Now they check it because of that. They check the stuff before it goes up. But it was just one of those things, man. Brother Lou, I was a big fan of DL and Bernie Mac. Yeah, DL Hughley and Bernie Mac. DL was my guy since Comic View. Like, DL just always been sharp, man. That guy, again, comes from South Central, does his thing. Even Cat was like, he will tolerate no fuckery when it comes to DL or talking shit about DL or something like that. He won't tolerate it. It is what it is. 1-34. I believe Gary Owens was keeping his options open by not blaming Steve Harvey. Facts, bro. He didn't want to blow no bridges. Facts, bro. Facts. He didn't want to blow no bridges. I'll say it though. I'll speak on it. What I don't care. But yeah, like DL, Bernie Mac, man. Like even Chris Tucker back there, back then, Chris Tucker was like, man, full of energy and doing this thing. Bill Bellamy. I mean, that was like a whole nother era, man. It was definitely the time to shine for black comics. And a lot of them went on to do some good stuff, man. Went on to make some great movies and stuff like that. Jamie Foxx, right? That's like and Living Color was popping. There was a lot of talent back there. And the vast majority of those guys are still around in some form or another. They're still around. So that just shows how much talent they have. You know what I mean? It just shows how much talent they have. But yeah, Gary was trying not to blow no bridges. But Gary, absolutely, if the camera went on, if me and Gary was just sitting down right now at La Rosa's, man, you know, chopping it up over a pizza, he probably would tell the truth. He's like, yeah, man, you know, Steve was on some bullshit, bro. he probably had worse. How is it that Steve Harvey never called him? He didn't say anything about that. You absolutely gonna get a phone call, bro. You absolutely gonna get a phone call. Come on now. We all know what time it was, but that's the perfect example of how Hollywood hits you, bro. Hollywood hits you like that. The gatekeepers, the no talent having hacks out there trying to tell you what you need to write, trying to tell you how to perform. I don't mind taking pointers from somebody, but I'll be damned if I'm taking a pointer for somebody who ain't never done it. You ain't never been on stage. You ain't never did it. Not even an open mic. You ain't got 3 minutes of material, but you're going to tell me how to run my material, man? Shut the hell up. Just shut up. Sit back and enjoy it, bro. I don't care what you think. You know what I mean? But if Bill Bellamy is going to come up and tell me like, hey, man, you might want to rearrange this joke. You might, you might want to do a call back here and there. I'm going to listen to every word he has to say. I'm like, all right, bet. I'm going to get out of try. And I'm going to try it. I'm going to try it more than once. I'm going to try that, see how it works out. Because that's what comics do for one another. You know what I mean? That's just how it is. Yeah, you're right about that, sis. And Living Color did funnel some of the greatest comedians of our time. I mean, gosh, bro, you just look. I mean, who isn't? I guess the only one who really didn't strike it huge was their sister. And I forget her name. What was it? Kim Wayans? That was the only one who really didn't like strike it huge, but everyone else, I mean, everyone else on that show, just including J-Lo, who was a dancer. You know what I mean? Like the dude was up there practicing, faking like he's DJing, a big time actor now. Like all those Wayners, and man, they just be crushing it, man. They just be crushing it, man. But yeah, that was a great show. And we haven't seen anything like it since. And Brother Lou, yeah, Gary trying to bounce back and get a new sister girl. He not offending anyone. I thought he's married, bro. Isn't he happily married? He has a sister he's been with. When I had to Google his name and check images, it's the same woman. I ain't seen with no new sister. He's got kids and everything. I think he's happily married, bro. But someone correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah, Sister, you're right. Quite. Yeah, everyone had a fruitful career coming from that show in Living Color. Yep, it was Kim Wayans. You know what I mean? Fire Marshal Bill was my favorite. Yeah, let me show you something. Let me show you something. That man is mega. Let me show you something. That was, man, look. I like Men on Films. 2 Snaps in the Circle. I thought that shit was hilarious. With Damon Wayans and old boy David Allen Greer. I just thought that was so clever. And then you also had the Homeboy Shopping Network. You know what I mean? I thought that was so clever. But yeah, like Fire Marshal Bill is legendary. Jim Carrey is the man. Look what he went on to do. So yeah, Tommy B's in the building. What's good, fam? I see you. He got divorced, fam. I didn't know that, man. That's too bad. He'll get another sister, though. He'll get another sister. Just, it's a tough world out there, man. And that life as a Hollywood person, man, as entertainer, period. You know what I mean? It's just a tough world, man. And for anyone who can get married and stay married, man, I tip my hat to him because it's so much temptation. It's just so difficult, bro. Just so difficult, man. Man, look, one day when I get the paywall up, I'm gonna tell y'all stories of stuff that I mean, just as a promoter, not even one of the biggest. I mean, I was just a promoter. I was a decent promoter who was coming up. I wasn't nowhere near like living off of it, like the real promoters are doing, like the club promoters and stuff like that. But I was known for putting together good shows. And man, look, dude, everyone gets groupies. Even I had groupies. I mean, I wasn't as old back then, but bro, man, I could not imagine being a real star. We used to go to Dublin's. Dublin's had the hottest comedy show ever in my book. For the up and coming comics, Jay-Z used to talk about it. Dublin's just like Bubbling in Dublin's was like a nightclub, sports bar, but they had like the hottest comedy show in Hollywood for their run. And everyone came out of there too. Ralphie May, Dane Cook came out of there. Tammy Pascatelli, like all of the people you saw in seasons 1 and season 2 of Last Comic Standing, you could see them all at Dublin's for free. just the bar room. They just set up a stage in the corner, put up some lights, and just whatever. It was just amazing. So I was up there. Bill Maher would be in Dublin's all the time, not for the comedy show, although I'm pretty sure he saw a couple of them. But he'll just be up there on a Friday, Saturday, Thursday, just random nights. Bill Maher would be up in there. And he always had no less than 4 dimes just right there with him, like baddies. It's like, I'm like, bro, I was pointing. You know how black folks, we don't know who you are. We just know we know you, kind of like pointing. And he just pointed back and he was like, Bill Maher, nice to meet you. I'm like, what's good, bro? Nice to meet you. Cool dude, just in there, no security, nothing, just chilling, just chilling. And when he got ready to go, man, got all his baddies together and then they jump into the Bill, to the Bill Maher mobile, and off they go to the Hollywood Hills. You know what time it is after that. Dimes. And if you are the guy, or the girl, if you're the person out there doing well, like promoting or the up and coming comic or the next new actor or director or writer, man, women gonna come see you in that town, man. You just sit there, they come right up to you. Excuse me, aren't you? Like, yeah. And it's on, bro. That's Hollywood, man. And if you married in that life, man, it's just, they literally throw it at you, man. They throw it at you, bro. I remember once I was in a nightclub and that's the first time I ever saw Denzel Washington, man. Like, brother, Denzel's cool. That's another brother. He see you in the club and ain't that many black folks, man. He's gonna wave, gonna come over, say what's up. Denzel was like, how you doing, brother? Hey, pleasure to meet you, bro. It's truly an honor. He was like, hey, man, it's all good, baby. Just chilling. You know what I mean? He just the Mac. And he's just sitting there doing his thing. And some little groupie girl walked up to him. And this was before, social media and all that, before everyone had a camera in their phone. You had to have a camera in your purse back then. And girl came up. She was like, can I get a picture with you, Mr. Denzel? Little cutie. Denzel sat back, had his drink. He looked at her and he was like, I'm off the clock, baby. I walked out of there like, man, if that ain't the coolest shit I ever heard in my life. I like one day, man, I want to be somebody so I can say that shit. I'm off the clock tonight, baby. Oh, man, that was fire. Of course, my voice doesn't know justice. He the Denzel voice, man. But boy, oh boy, she walked away confused. Where his security came over. Not his security, the bouncers came over and kind of walked her way, and then they kind of formed a semicircle around Denzel to keep people from coming over. Anyway, he didn't want to come over. Man, look. Dude said that shit was hilarious, man. Dude's like, I'm off the clock tonight, baby. That was just so... Oof. Sister Candace, SNL would be a copycat version of In Living Color. Saturday Night Live was around forever, though. Saturday Night Live, I mean, that goes all the way back to not ready for primetime players like Gary Dixon and Jim Belushi and Dan Aykroyd. I remember that as a little kid, bro. Like, so Saturday Night Live was actually like the first. That was the mode. They were the standard. It's just over the decades, they just, you can see how talent. They don't get real talented people to come on there. It's just it goes, a generation or two before they get someone. Now, I mean, it's just so garbage. I'm surprised it's still on TV, to be honest with you. Saturday Night Live. I mean, Living Color came out there and was like made Saturday Night Live work harder. When the Wayans came out there, because they probably refused to work on Saturday Night Live. Like, we're gonna do this ourselves, and just blew it up. And then you had Mad TV came out, had a little run. I know Bobby Lee was on that. Ari Spears was on that. Damon Wayans came out. Gosh, man, this must have been the middle 2000s, and he had a run of the season. He was trying to bring back his own show. It didn't go that well. I ain't gonna lie. I love Damon, but it didn't go that well. My man Vinny Oshana was on that. Miss AKA lady, she's like, yeah, Gary and his wife have been beefing hardcore in the news. Wow. They not cool at all. You see how I don't keep up. Men in film, yep, hated it. 2 snaps in the circle. Hated it. The little hats that David Allen Greer will be wearing, those little hats. Man, I listen. I be laughing. I miss half the skit because I be laughing so damn hard with what they were wearing. Yeah, yeah. I'm gonna have to go look some of those up on YouTube. We got Brother Mike on the building. What's good, fam? Happy New Year, brother. W to you, man. Sister, I am the single one. On the Spot Live is in the building. What's good, sis? Yeah, girl, you was talking about that airplane. I didn't realize half the door flew off at 20,000 feet. Yo, stay away from Boeing right now. God, dog, I'm playing new 737. Woo, man, I'm gonna talk about that. I'll probably talk about that when I'm driving around, man. That stuff is crazy. So I gotta wrap this up, y'all. I gotta get ready to go. I need to get dressed and head over to the spot. You know, we do have the show tonight. The rain has calmed down in Tampa. It was torrential a couple hours ago, but it done calmed down. Hopefully our crowd will come out. For anyone who is coming to the show, we lost a comic. Sister Mary is not going to be there tonight. She'll be back in a couple weeks. But we still got Gordon. I'm gonna be there. We got Brother T. Davis is gonna be there. And we got Kelvin Garcia. Still gonna be an outstanding show. Make sure you don't miss it. We got drink specials. Ladies, free shots until 10 p.m. If y'all do come out tonight, free shots until 10 p.m. Bottle service, of course, is available for those who wish. And we're just gonna have a good time. You know what I mean? We got a great staff. You know, we got great security, and we just gonna have a good old time, y'all. So I'm gonna keep it 100. We don't have our DJ, he's in Vegas, but we're gonna have music playing. We got a backup plan for it. It's all good. But moving forward, we're gonna have our DJ every Tuesday. And we're also on Friday night. We're part of the Sunshine Film Festival, Comedy Festival. So Friday we're gonna have a show. Look us up. Check out my Instagram. All the information will be up on there. And we're just gonna keep it rocking, y'all. Every Tuesday, if you're ever in Tampa, every Tuesday, the Comedy Arc at Status. Come through. If y'all know me, hit me up, DM me. I'm definitely gonna take care of you. Y'all know how I get down. Brother Pitney is asking me, would you partner with Cat Williams if you had a chance? I mean, probably not. I mean, it depends on what we're partnering on. If it's comedy, he wouldn't need me as a partner. I mean, he's the king of what he does. So if anything, if he's bringing me on one of his shows, he's just looking out for a brother and taking care of me, and I will be grateful, and I would do the set, because I ain't saying no to anytime, anywhere. I'm gonna perform. But to partner up, let's say we wanted to sit down and like work on the script. Like I got a couple scripts, I got some writers that I work with. I would absolutely sit down and partner up with someone like Cat Williams to work on the script, and because he can walk it into Hollywood if he wanted to. There's some people who will stay away from him, and there's some people who will rock with him. And right now he's hot. So yeah, I will partner with him on the script if we're going to write a movie. Let's say we're going to do, I don't know, a gangster ghetto space movie or something like that. You know what I mean? Sure. You know what I mean? Let's tell the story of Star Wars, but from the perspective of gangsters, like the ghetto dudes, the hood dudes, you know, selling space crack or something. I don't know. But if we were to sit down and we're going to come up with a concept for a movie, write a screenplay, or for a TV show, write a treatment, yeah, you'd be a fool not to sit down with Cat Williams. Like the guy's done it. He's brilliant, right? He's been in the business for decades. That's the guy you want to talk to. I would absolutely love to sit down with him. I'd buy the man lunch if he would allow me to, just to pick his brain. Like, bro, you know, what was the biggest pitfall when you started touring? Like, he does arenas. Like the amount of money needed, like the stuff that you need. I would love to pick his brain, bro. Straight up. That was a good question, by the way, man. Thank you for that, bro. It's a good question. This AKA lady saying I still have my Living Color box set. Oh, you got the Chappelle Show DVDs as well. That's what's up. We should all get together one of these days and like you know, like play that, because I have the Chappelle Show, but I never got in Living Color box sets. That's what's up, girl. I'm gonna have to holler at you about that. I'm gonna have to let me borrow one of those, a couple of those DVDs. On the spot live. Like, have a great show. Thank you so much. I plan to do your thing, dear. That's Brother Tez. Thank you. I appreciate that. Yes. I plan to do my thing. We about to make that happen. Please. If you like what you saw, please leave a like. Subscribe if you haven't done so already. Drop some comments, man, because we could talk comedy all day. Y'all see, I love it. All week we're talking about comedy. We said this yesterday when we started, you know, talking about Cat Williams, the Cat Williams effect. I wanted to talk about this thing with Gary Owens and Steve Harvey because I thought it was really good. Tomorrow, there's a podcast out there called Podcast Cringe. I want to cover them. Oh, you know what? I take that. I want to cover them on Thursday, but tomorrow I want to cover Bill Burr. I think Bill Burr was one of the first red pill comedians, and I found some footage that we all should see and watch, and I think it's going to be a good time. So tomorrow we're going to do that. We're going to talk about Bill Burr and how I think Bill Burr was the first red pill comedian. And I don't think Bill Burr even knows what the red pill is, but it's just his material back then was just on point. His material on marriage, his material on feminism and all that kind of stuff, man. So we're going to hit that up tomorrow, y'all. Trust and believe it's going to be fun. Miss AKA lady, I don't even own a DVD player, right? But you got a computer though. We can put it in the computer and watch it or whatever. We can figure it out. We'll work it out. So thanks for rocking out with me, y'all. I really appreciate y'all. This was fun. This was a good time. Now y'all know what I mean when I say somebody is Hollywood. If they Hollywood, I might start saying they Steve Harvey instead of calling them Hollywood. Like, oh man, dude, Steve Harvey. That's what I'm gonna start saying that. Like, dude, Hollywood. Like, oh yeah, he's Steve Harvey. He's Steve. Yeah, he all over there, Steve Harvey, bro. Come on now. He's so. I'm gonna holler at y'all later, man. I gotta go. I'm DL Saint. This is I Really Want to Know podcast. Man, I'm gonna holler at y'all. Peace.
Nothing like I've ever seen. It's just a thing of beauty.
Darn, that's the end.